today, start of April. I wouldn't believe it's the same kind of weather we had in February, but it is. And also the storms have passed over us, thankfully. And what we're going to look at today is different ways of sowing seeds. We're going to take you through all the assorted kind of trays and plugs, and even a few twists along the way. Okay, let's have a look at them. Now we're going to start with the traditional seed tray. This is a half seed tray. You can get them twice the size of this. Traditionally you fill this with compost, leaving a little bit of room at the top so you can water without flooding the tray and flooding your seeds out. So that's the traditional way of sowing seed. Then you have this, which is one of our favourite ones, which is again a seed tray, but it's a smaller version. So if you're dealing with lots of seeds, you can get more into your greenhouse by using these, because believe it or not, this holds quite a lot of seeds, even thinly sowed, and will probably carry through an entire season. We then come to plugs. You can direct sow into plugs, so you can do beetroot, cosmos, all sorts within this. Great way of doing it. You may have noticed we're still using plastic. We will carry on using plastic, and when they break we will replace it with something sustainable, because believe it or not folks, this cannot be recycled and it goes straight into landfill or into furnaces. Then you've got your traditional pot. You all know this one. This is what we tend to sow our leeks in, because then they're easier just to pull out in clumps and put on. Again, you could do your leeks in these as well, plant them as clumps. Now we come to these. Don't know if you can see them. These are little expanding coir blocks. They used to be peat blocks when we first started gardening, but now they're coir blocks. We're going to look at these. If you put them in the water, they expand out, and obviously when they expand out, you've got a lovely little plug similar to that. And again, one or two seeds in there, put into a tray, label, leave, and then you've got your tiny little plant ready to go out into the garden once all frosts have passed. But first we're going to put this into water, see how they expand, and start planting into them, so you can see what we're doing with coir blocks. So into a bucket of water they go, and we leave them there to expand, and we'll look at the final product in a moment. So why have we ditched seed composts, you may be asking? We do still use some. We tend to use some that we've made ourselves, and we tend to use it with a mix of coir and organic compost. We are ditching peat, and we have ditched peat now for over 2 years. For people who still argue peat is great, really? You really want to have that argument with me? You really want me to go and take you to places in Ireland and North of Europe where the peat bogs have been completely stripped bare? You really want to have that argument with me so you can get a plant that you think is superior? Coir does exactly the same. And if you learn about feeds, you can do exactly the same thing that peat does for your plant to get it going. Yes, peat is lovely, but peat belongs in the ground. And the reason it belongs in the ground is because moss bogs lock in a lot of our carbon, and we're releasing it into the atmosphere. Which is why we've got a lovely sunny day. Maybe, maybe not. Whole different argument on climate change, but you've got to admit, peat is not sustainable. Coir? We're getting there, aren't we? There's still arguments for that. But making your own garden compost is sustainable, because it's taking all the waste from your garden and all the waste from your kitchen and making it into a product that you can use in your garden. So, in the time it took me to rant a little bit about not using peat compost, I've got those little plugs I was talking about. You see them? They've swelled up now. If I can pull one out, you see? No, lovely, fat, juicy, full of moisture. So I don't need to water these. That's a plus. But to be fair, we're going to use some plugs as well. So you get a like for like. This is coir as well, just like that is. Coir. We're going to sow Cosmos Xanthos in this and Cosmos Xanthos in that. Here's the labels, you know the date that we're sowing on. So it's the 6th of April that we're doing this. It's the same seed company. We're not going to mention them, but you know where to get Cosmos Xanthos from. We're going to sow one seed a plug, and then we'll have to water these. We won't have to water these, and what we'll do, We'll come back to these later on to see how well they're growing and how well the germination is in comparison to the plugs here, which is expandable, nice little pot, and the plastic tray plugs. Okay, so we've sowed the Cosmos Xanthos. We'll come back to it in about 2 weeks, maybe 3 weeks time. We'll see how the germination's going. You can find out how it's going on www.lifeonpigrow.co.uk. We'll probably blog about it there, and you can see exactly how the germination goes and what kind of plants we get at the end of it. We'll follow this through from seed through to the final planting out, look at the positives and negatives of both these two systems so you can make a choice. Now, there is the old traditional system of sowing them thinly in a seed tray. There's nothing wrong with them, but you'll have to pot them on after a while as the plants get bigger and bigger to encourage a good root system. And the great thing about plugs is you don't need to do that because you've already sowed them in the final pot. Because I'm doing Cosmos Xanthos, which is an annual, these were going straight out into the garden after the first signs of frost have gone. Obviously I'll spend a week hardening them off so they get acclimatised to the outside, but isn't that a way of saving plastic by turning to these coir pellets? Isn't it a way of saving plastic as well, and too much use of compost, by turning to a plug system using a plastic tray? Something I'd like you to discuss. So if you've got time, post a comment below, tell me what you think, and we can start a debate. Until next time, bye bye.